Have you ever tried to build a habit but ended up quitting 2 weeks in? In this video, I'm going to show you how to build a habit and help you understand a little bit of the science that goes behind it. All the information I am about to share in this video is not mine and was taken from a book I read called Atomic Habits by James Clear. I've actually been trying to apply his methods in my own life with the habit of exercising and found that they have really worked. I hope that after watching this video, you're inspired to build a new habit in your life, or maybe even check out this book. Oh, sorry, in this video we're not learning French. Maybe next time. Throughout your life, you've probably wanted to do more things, like read more often, take more dance breaks, eat healthier, or work out. However, you've always found it so difficult to stick to those habits. This is why I'm going to show you the importance of atomic habits. The key word being atomic, which means habits so small that you improve at least 1% every day. The word atomic comes from the word atom, which is the basic unit of an element. They're so small we can't even see them. You might be thinking, why would an atomic habit matter? It's so small, you can't even see the real change it's actually making in your life. However, you've got to trust that that small atomic habit will build into something much bigger throughout time and throughout repetition. It's important to remember that the 1% rule also applies to bad habits. If you were to get 1% worse every day for 1 year, the graph would look like this. If you were to get 1% better each day, you would end up with results that are nearly 30 times better after 1 year. Let me show you what that progress would look like. If you had 3 ice cubes in a room that was 26 degrees Fahrenheit, the ice cubes would still be frozen, and they'd still be frozen if you increase the temperature to 27, 28, 29, 30, and 31. Once you get to 32 degrees, the ice would melt. Those small changes in temperature seemed like it did nothing to the ice, until it hit 32 degrees, which caused it to change. This is why it's so hard to build a habit when you don't see a lot of change happening in the moment. This line represents what we think will happen, but actually, the line starts really flat and low and increases over time. This creates what James Clear calls as a valley of disappointment. People start to get discouraged about putting in work and not seeing the results they were expecting. Yet, this work is not wasted because it's not until later that you see the full value of your previous efforts. Another important thing to remember is to focus on systems, not goals. If you think about it, winners and losers have the same goals, but only the ones with good systems are the winners. Let's look at an example. Say you wanted to become a musician. Your goal would be to learn and play a song on the guitar. However, your system would be how often you practice or how you learn to read the music. If you were to focus on your goal, you'd probably learn and play the song. But then what? Your habit of playing music would probably stop there. However, if you focus on the system and getting 1% better each day, the goals will take care of themselves and you'll be able to become a musician. Another thing you want to keep in mind is that you're working on an identity, or a set of beliefs about yourself. Ultimately, your identity shapes the habits in your life. For example, a person who believes themselves to be healthy will have good habits of eating fruits, vegetables, exercising, or sleeping well. Behavior that is incongruent with your identity will not last. That is why you have to believe that you're the type of person that has the habits that you want to build. By repeating habits each day, you reinforce the identity of who you want to become, whether it be a healthy person, a good student, or a writer. Now that you know some of the fundamentals, I'm going to show you what a habit is made of. A habit has 4 main parts: a cue, a craving, a response, and a reward. These can be separated into 2 phases. The problem phase, where you realize that something needs to change, and the solution phase, where you take action and achieve the change you desire. Let me show you how these 4 things work together. Let's say your phone buzzes. This will be the cue that will spark your craving to know why it buzzed. Your response would be to pick up your phone and look at the notifications, which would give you the reward of knowing why it buzzed. Okay, now let's get into the cue aspect of the habit. To build a habit, you need to make it obvious. Your brain is always picking up cues from your environment, whether you notice it or not. From experience, your brain will learn to predict which outcomes will come from which cues. To start to bring awareness, you can start by writing down some of your everyday habits and labeling them as good, bad, or neutral. You can start to see which ones are the cues for the next habits and evaluate which ones you want to change or add. With James Clear's habit stacking technique, you are able to implement new habits into your daily routine. For example, if you always eat breakfast and then check your emails, but you also want to add the habit of meditating, you can take one of your current habits like eating breakfast and make it as a cue for meditating. The formula goes like this. After I current habit, I will new habit. So after I eat breakfast, I will meditate. You can also use the point and call out technique to bring awareness to the cues that spark your everyday habits. You're walking past your pantry and find yourself going in to get some food. You can point and say that you're going to the pantry to bring awareness to the fact that maybe walking past the pantry is a cue for walking in and getting food, but you weren't really hungry. Or before leaving your house, you can point and call out all the things you have so you don't forget anything. A big part of our cues come from the environment. It contains cues that kickstart good or bad habits in our lives. For example, whenever you go to the store, there's always shelves full of candy next to the cashiers. Although you didn't initially want candy, you feel the urge to get some because you saw it. That's why you have to make the cues to your good habits super obvious. For example, if you place a box of chocolates next to you, you're gonna find that you're gonna be eating them all. But if you wanted to get in the habit of eating healthier, you could replace that box of chocolates with a box of apples instead. Now let's get into the craving aspect of the habit. To build a good habit, you have to make it attractive. But why do we find them attractive? Our brain releases dopamine, or the happy hormone, when we do something we like. This happens when we're experiencing something we like, but also when we anticipate it. More importantly, we anticipate a reward. To use this to our advantage, we can use James Clear's temptation bundling technique. This is where we combine a habit we want with a habit we need. For example, if I want to listen to a podcast but I have to clean, I'll combine those to make it more attractive. You can also combine this technique with habit stacking. For example, you combine a current habit with a habit you need and then a habit you want. So if you always get a cup of coffee in the morning, take your coffee, then add the habit you need, like doing your homework, then add the habit you want, like watching Netflix. Social influences can also impact how attractive our habits are. This is because of our human need to belong and to fit in. People usually imitate those around them, large numbers of people, and successful people. To help build better habits, you should surround yourself with people who have the habits you want and are good at them. If you wanted to get into the habit of playing soccer, you should hang out with your soccer friends who play soccer often and who play really good. It will help you crave your desired habit because it will make it more attractive and it will make it more enjoyable for you. All cravings have an underlying motive. Let's say you crave a taco. Your craving would be the taco, obviously. But your underlying motive would be because you need food to survive. If you know what the underlying motive for your craving is, you can satisfy that motive in many different ways. If you were getting in the habit of being healthier, you could satisfy your need for food by eating healthier stuff. Now let's say you had a habit of overeating. You could identify that your underlying motive is to feel different. So you could make a list of the many ways that you could satisfy your need for feeling different, like hanging out with your friends, listening to music, or doing other stuff that you like. Okay, now for the response. The trick here is to make it easy. Think about it. You're more likely to do something that's easy. A quote that I love that James Clear added is walk slowly, but never backwards. It accurately represents how you should tackle building habits. Every step you take forward is a step forward, no matter how small. It's important to keep in mind because it's really easy to plan the perfect strategy, but if you take no action, nothing's gonna happen. Read a book on how to build a business, but if you don't build the business, it's worth nothing. That's why you should take small steps on getting 1% better every day to build the business empire you desire. The key to building good habits is repetition. Repetitions, our habits become automatic to the point where we don't even think about doing them. Let me give you a visual. At point A, a habit will require a good deal of effort and repetition. At point B, it will start to get easier, but it would still require some conscious attention. Now at point C, the habit will become more automatic than conscious. Let me give you an example of why repetition is important. Imagine a photography teacher divides his class into two groups. The quality group would have to produce one picture that was nearly perfect, while the quantity group was going to be graded on the amount of pictures they produced. By the end of the semester, he was surprised to find out that the best pictures were taken by the quantity group. This is because in the process of creating hundreds of photos, they honed their skills. This explains why the most effective form of learning and building a habit is practice, not planning. Remember how I said that you had to make it easy? This is where the law of the least effort comes in. The brain only has a certain amount of energy to give. That's why it's so human to try to do something that takes the least effort. If you wanted to get into the habit of drinking more water, make it easy for you to drink water by keeping your water bottle next to you or in plain sight. Same with reading. Keep a book nearby and start by reading 1 page a day. Or you can make it easier by reading 1 word a day, then 2 words, then 3 words, because remember, repetition is key. Starting really small can feel really awkward because like I said in the beginning, you don't see the changes you expect. This is where you have to trust that by starting small and building at least 1% every day, you'll get better results than you'd ever imagined. I used to do tough 45-minute workouts that would leave me so drained that I would stop exercising for a long period of time. So I decided that I would start with small workouts that I enjoyed to allow myself to create the habit of exercising my whole life. Now I have more pride for exercising and find myself wanting to work out for longer periods of time. Okay, now finally, let's get into the reward. For the reward, you have to make it satisfying. Let me show you how a satisfying reward can make a difference in the habits you want to create. In Karachi, Pakistan, the water supply was very dirty. These unsanitary conditions led to widespread illness and disease among the people. Some public health workers that wanted to help the situation knew that the habit of washing your hands could make all the difference, but that the people of Karachi were not doing so. They decided to provide the people of Karachi with a soap that gave them a more enjoyable experience of washing their hands because the soap foamed easily and it smelled really good. Within months, researchers saw that the rate of diarrhea fell by 52% and pneumonia by 48%. With the new soap, the habit of washing their hands became so satisfying that they were able to do it again and again. Throughout history, our ancestors were worried about the present moment and how they were going to achieve their rewards immediately. However, today and age, we focus on delaying those rewards for our future selves because we have more stuff guaranteed. Although delaying our rewards is really good, our brains still need to have some sort of reward in the moment. Because if we don't find the rewards for our actions in the moment satisfying, we are not going to repeat it. If you delay watching television and get your homework done, you'll generally learn more and get better grades. Yet you can reward yourself for completing your homework by watching television after you finish your homework. Let me show you a way in which you can work towards bigger things by also rewarding your small actions. If a person wants to quit smoking, he can make a jar in which he puts money he saved by not buying cigarettes. This way, the money he saved can go into a trip to a beach or wherever he'd like. Last but not least, it's always helpful to have a friend who's gonna do the habit with you and who's gonna keep you accountable. I hope you could take a lot from this video so you could build the habits you want in your life. Thank you so much!